Most people are extremely skeptical when they hear about someone that retired early. If they're parents, their first reaction is probably, they definitely don't have kids, or they must be dinks. That's dual income, no kids. But is that true? Spoiler, nope. Today I'm going to explore pursuing financial independence with kids in 7 strategies to help you retire early as a parent. That said, many people that achieve financial independence in early retirement actually do have kids. Alliance looked at early retirees in 2014 and found that 87% of them had children. I can think of many FIRE creators that actually have kids. I thought of Amon and Christina from Our Rich Journey, Meet the Frugal Woods, JL Collins, he has a daughter, and that's actually the inspiration for his blog and writing, The Financial Samurai, and I could go on. Before I get to the strategies though, let me say hello. My name is Frankie. I am not a dad, so what makes me qualified to speak on this topic? Well, I studied it and researched it, of course. I've been on my financial journey for more than 4 years and got married late last year. My wife is well aware of my goals, and I guess that makes them our goals, and we definitely want kids, so I went researching to understand the full impact children are going to have on those goals. I learned a lot, and I'm excited to share that with you today. But first, let me clearly cover how difficult it really is to retire early with kids and where the main costs come from. Beyond the obvious general day-to-day cost of raising a child, you'll likely need a larger house, you might need a bigger car, you'll need more food on hands at all times, more plane tickets when you travel, more tickets to events, you'll need to pay for babysitters occasionally, kids need lots of clothes because they constantly outgrow theirs, plus paying for sports, clubs, and other activities. You'll need more expensive healthcare, birthday and holiday gifts, the cost of throwing birthday parties, allowance, and you might have to consider, of course, paying for college tuition. The reality is, kids are expensive. Nobody ever says they're going to have kids because it's going to speed up their journey to financial independence. In 2015, the US Department of Agriculture estimated that the cost to raise a single child for a middle-income family is $234,000, and that doesn't include the price of college. Families who earn over $107,000 a year can expect to spend closer to $400,000, and again, those numbers are per child and are from 7 years ago, so I'm sure they've gone up. Beyond costs, children obviously take up a ton of time and attention. Therefore, you might have to give up a side hustle or find that you have far less time to learn and grow new skills. They can literally hold you back from getting out of the door to advancing your career. Now, on the flip side, there are some financial positives. You do get tax breaks for dependents around, I think, $3,000 as a child. And in later age, your children might actually be able to help take care of you literally and financially, but that's about it. With the negative though out of the way, this is the part where I get to the tips and strategies to help you parents or soon-to-be parents achieve financial independence in early retirement, even with kids. Number 1, know your numbers. To know how much you need to retire, you need to know how much you spend as a family. It's not a lot different from an equation standpoint than running your FIRE number on your own. That number is commonly recognized as 25 times your annual spending. At that point, you can live off of 4% of your investments annually while keeping the rest invested. And there's no way of knowing how much you're spending each month or year if you aren't tracking it. You may have a rough idea, but the human mind is great at manipulating the story and the real truth, so know thy numbers. Number 2, avoid debt, outside of course, maybe a mortgage. If you're planning to have children in the future, one of the best things you can do is to avoid debt. Period. Avoid student loans or pay them off, avoid car payments, and obviously avoid things like boats, RVs, and credit card spending that you can't pay off in full. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but it can't be underestimated or emphasized enough. You can't achieve early retirement with credit cards that you can't pay off, so you definitely can't achieve it with kids and a credit card hole. So live within your means and spend only what you can according to your goals and numbers. Number 3, get creative. Like, all the time. Shop in bulk and get serious about meal planning. Embrace affordable activities like bike rides, backyard games, board games, books, camping, hiking, and swimming. Consider bunk beds if your kids are maybe into that idea. And if you don't want to cut back on family vacations, consider playing the credit card points rewards game if you're extremely responsible with credit cards. For gifts, help your kids craft a wish list of things that they're still going to be using 3 to 4 years from now, rather than the latest video game or fad new toy that they're going to get rid of in 2 to 3 months. And teach your children to take care of their possessions so that they're going to last longer. When something breaks, help them fix it instead of automatically replacing it or tossing it into the garbage. You get the idea here. Get creative, stay creative, teach your children to be creative as well. Number 4, make sure you pay yourself first, no matter what. This really should be rule number 1. Live on less than you earn. Save and invest the difference. It's the golden principle fire seekers follow. It's the number 1 lesson in the classic book, The Richest Man in Babylon, like I explained in this recent video. Even if you can only invest a small percentage of your income each month, make sure you contribute that to your retirement investment accounts. Ensure the majority of your retirement contributions are done automatically before that paycheck is deposited into your bank account. Just don't let your desire to provide the best of everything for your kids blow up your path to early retirement. You cannot expect to achieve financial independence if you don't have the funds to invest consistently, ideally, automatically. Number 5, consider relocating to a lower cost of living area. Location can make a huge difference. Instead of living in a city where the median home price is $1 million, consider moving to an equally great city where the median home price is closer to the national average, which is $260,000. We actually preemptively did this recently. We moved from Seattle, where the median home price is $915,000, to Tacoma, Washington, where it's less than half of that, at $450,000. And you should also consider downsizing if you can. You don't need 1,000 square feet per person. A smaller house means a smaller footprint, a lower utility bill, fewer things that you need to buy to fill it, and a lower cost on your biggest expense of all, housing. Not to mention, you'd likely be able to pay off that mortgage sooner, a huge way to boost your retirement odds. There's nothing like the freedom and security of owning your own home outright. It might not be the best mathematical decision, but it might be the most satisfying goal to accomplish. Let me know if you agree or disagree about prioritizing paying off your home in the comments. Number 6, send your kids to public grade school. The national average private school tuition is $11,912 a year. Private elementary is roughly $11,000 per year, and private high school averages about $15,500 per year. And don't even get me started on private college tuition. It's yikes. Your child will have equally great experiences, friends, and memories from public schools, and your child will definitely be equally successful. Oprah, Steve Jobs, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Warren Buffett, Jay-Z, Larry Page, Judy Garland, Tim Cook, all public schooled, and that's just scratching the surface. Private school tuition is a massive financial drag. Plus, it can become an ongoing expense with pressure to donate often, attend events, and otherwise stay involved well beyond graduation. So go public, and for college, consider local options. If it's close enough, you can save if they're able to live at home. Number 7, talk money at home openly and teach your kids about finance. This one is critical. All families benefit from getting their children involved in learning about money and engaging with the topic. It starts with showing them that living minimally and frugally isn't a sacrifice, it's a ticket to financial freedom. Living minimally or frugally is beneficial for the planet. Explain this, and they might develop pride about the fact that they're helping the environment by reducing consumption, because more isn't always better. In terms of allowance, many families have shifted from automatic allowance to pay per chore completed or hours spent working. This instills the value of hard work at a young age. Making kids consistently work for what they think they deserve is a fantastic life lesson to learn young. Or of course, you could skip allowance altogether. So what's your stance on allowance? I'd love to know how you handle it or plan to handle it in the comments. Finally, share your family's financial goals. Help kids set their own goals. Talk openly about money with your partner in front of them, but avoid public fights about money or they might learn to fear it. And make sure the whole family understands the big picture reason for saving and investing more for financial independence. It's the ability to spend more time together. Show your love with time, not stuff. Time for some bonus tips, and I have so much more that I could cover, but I'm gonna keep these final bonus tips brief. First, consider a 529 plan early on. You can actually get started with one even before your children are born. They offer growth, tax benefits, and can massively ease the burden of college tuition. Now, that said, don't feel like you have to cover all college expenses. It's great to teach your kids to have skin in the game. Perhaps for every dollar they save, you contribute 3 or 4. And encourage them to work part-time while they're in school to pay for their day-to-day spending. I think I worked at least 6 jobs when in college, and it was the best thing for me long term. Next, you'll increase your odds of reaching early retirement if both parents work full-time. Working from home has certainly eased the burden of work and raising children at the same time in recent years. Plus, if you live near your parents or you have family nearby that can help sit your kids for cheap or free, this is even easier. I can't speak to this next one personally, but in research I came across this. Consider joining the military, foreign service, law enforcement, or any organization that offers a pension. If you're between ages 18 to 22, you can retire as early as 38 to 42 with a pension. Even if you work for 10 more years to get a bigger pension, you can still retire much earlier than 60. Finally, it's more essential than ever to build up an emergency fund if you have kids. As your family grows, your responsibility to protect them from financial emergencies also grows. Protect your spouse, your kids, and your assets with a solid base of cash on hand that you only touch when emergencies arise. And they will, no doubt. And this stat didn't really fit anywhere, but I wanted to share it. It's that nearly 75% of parents provide some financial assistance to their adult children. So yeah, chew on that one. And if that gets you angry or terrifies you, get moving. You can absolutely avoid this, and you can aim even bigger. You can still retire early with the family to support if you take action, have the right mindset, and most importantly, have the right partner with similar views, goals, and values. You shouldn't write off the possibility of financial independence if you also want to have kids. Plain and simple. Just like being a parent, achieving financial goals requires patience and flexibility. Children are a blank canvas, so take pride in helping to craft rules for a happier, wealthier life. And finally, don't make excuses. The reality is you are in charge of your financial health and well-being with or without kids. It all comes down to this: plan ahead for children, avoid debt, reduce your expenses, increase your income, be smart about where you live, be creative, and invest for the long term. If you do so, you can achieve financial independence and become an early retired mom or dad. Early retirement, by the way, isn't just for you and your spouse. Remember that it's for your children as well. The goal of early retirement is to buy your time and freedom back, and the best gift that you can give your child is more time. It's clear to me that being a parent is one of life's greatest satisfactions and one of the most rewarding experiences anyone can have. So make it even more rewarding and satisfying by achieving financial security, whether you're seeking early retirement or not. But I want to hear from you. This is a huge topic, and I'm sure many of you watching are parents. So what stood out to you from the tips today? And do you have any advice for someone like me that hopes to have kids in the near future? And finally, what has worked or not worked for you? My name is Frankie, author of the new book, Save Half, Retire Fast, and you can find this on Amazon, so snag yourself a copy for tons more early retirement content. Have an awesome week or weekend ahead, and I hope to see you next week on the next one. Thanks.